Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, it's not a very positive one. The Downfall of FC26, a game that genuinely, in my opinion, had so much potential, so much promise when it came out, and that all went out the window within a few weeks of the game being out. In this video, I'm going to break down every area of the game that I think was good at the start, that showed potential, how it went downhill. Obviously, there's no perfect game ever, and I don't expect perfection from EA, but I don't expect some of the ridiculous stuff that we see happen on this year's game. I'm going to talk about different areas of the game, talk about what happened, what I think EA could have done differently, and break down what I would like to see moving forward. It's going to be a little bit of a kind of mini documentary, so to speak, talking about this year's game. The game's only been out, what, 5 months or so, but ultimately we're halfway through the cycle, and realistically, most people don't play it anywhere past this. So hopefully, this is the type of video you enjoy. Put a bit more effort into this one. Please, of course, let me know your thoughts if you like these kind of videos. And yeah, let's get into the video. This should be an interesting one. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. If you want coins, check out IGGM. Use code ZEL to get 8% off. Supports dozens of payment methods. IGGM has over 150,000 order reviews and is a trusted, long-established brand. One area of the game that honestly probably showed potential more before the game came out rather than when the game came out was the season pass. Now, battle passes are a key part of modern live service games. By a live service game, I mean a game that doesn't just come out and that's the game. So, like a game like The Last of Us or something, that you get that, you complete it, that's the game done. Live service games like Fortnite, pretty much any modern sports game, even like some of the games today, like Diablo games like that. It's a big part of the modern gaming industry, really. FC Ultimate Team's been a key part of that for a long time now. Makes EA a lot of money. We all know this. And battle passes as a part of them have been something that most games have adopted and done quite well. EA's for a long time was free. I don't mind them putting premium battle pass stuff in, but the rewards have been absolutely stinking all year. The first one I think was the best reward, like 85, 86 Tamori that no one used. I barely saw anyone use him. Some of the players in this are a little bit better, but ultimately a lot of them just still not very usable. I rarely ever see any players from the passes this year ever get used. They're never worth the coins, so they're 100% just forcing you to spend money. This icon at the end's okay, but there's just better centre backs. And this is probably the best one we've had so far, and it's still really not that good. Never mind the menus, how bad they are. EA talked about though the premium season passes would be really good this year. Really add something to the game. That's something they kind of bragged about in the build up to the game. So these have been very disappointing. That's another area of the game. Well, I'll say another. It's the first one I've talked about, but an area of the game that showed potential and is a key part, in my opinion, to the downfall of FC. Okay, so I'm trying to go through the different areas of the game chronologically, like from left to right, just to talk about different things. Objectives. Absolutely shocking. Has anyone ever cared about the objectives this year? Foot swaps or icon swaps has been okay. However, there's just a few rewards that are actually worth going for, and the way that they make you get them is just awful grinding in squad battles modes that most people have zero interest in ever playing. The daily and weekly objectives, fine, but you have to jump through hoops to complete the season pass. That isn't even that good. These silver swaps just boring, and they're not even that good. These are whatever. The live events have been dreadful all year. Some of the evolutions that you can get are okay. Who cares about Lewis Ferguson? No one is ever using that card by maybe someone trying to build an all-Scottish team. The milestones are shocking, like 250 rivals wins, which is crazy. That is a lot of wins. You get an absolutely shocking pack that's going to be full of 83s and 84s at the best. I can't even, like, It's just stupid. These rewards are absolutely outdated. EA put zero effort. They talk about keeping things fresh. They've just not remotely done that with the objects at all. Playing modes. Look at competitive first. Rush. Shocking. They said at the start of the year that they'd be adding like different stuff to it. They'd be making it much better. Clearly haven't done that. I don't know anyone who has any interest in Rush other than if they just have to do some objectives. Rivals. The only real competitive mode you can do during the week. There's just not really any actual way of playing other than Rivals during the week if you really want to grind the game. Fair enough, lots of people don't. But let's just look at the rewards. I'm in Division 2 if you're wondering why, because I don't really play my account. But I was in Elite Division for quite a lot. Why would I grind Rivals when the rewards are this bad? Let's have a look. I just play other people's weekend leagues generally. The upgrade reward, player picks, awful. Really swore. The packs are shocking. You never really get anything. 50,000 coins. That's not even like. It's like 3% maybe of a top player, and you have 11 in your team. Like the rewards are absolute waste of time. Champs, challengers. The idea is cool. I think the rewards are pretty bad from what I've seen. Oh, actually, get a club nickname called Mad Lads. Might be worth playing in that actually. Champs. The rewards are shocking. Again, EA said with Rivals and Champs rewards that they would update them as the year went on to keep them fresh and make them worth the time playing and make them good enough for that stage of the game. They've clearly not done that. Champs actually looked a bit more promising at the start of the year because EA told us that the rewards would be a bit better, so that was positive. And then the first weekend, it really wasn't actually that sweaty. It was actually relatively reasonable. Most people were getting 14, 15 if they were very good at the game. And then it came out that matchmaking was broken. It was just pot luck, RNG. And then since then, it's been the sweatiest year I've ever had for Champs. And that's only in 15 games. So an awful experience. The Ultimate Gauntlet early on was decent, but then they stopped giving us players that anyone cared about. That quickly just got pointless. No one really cares about anymore. Online Draft. Again, they promised that they'd be updating rewards. I've not had a good reward from draft in years. And that's someone who's playing absolutely loads. And not anymore, really, because it's pointless. But the mode's really just not fun. So online draft is something that, again, at the start of the year sounded a lot better, but EA just not delivered on the promise. I'm not going to spend a long time going into the play like AI stuff or the online friends, but it's very just outdated. Squad battles again got absolutely ruined by the update to AI that just made it broken. Squad battles was okay at the start, even though the rewards aren't great, but then they just absolutely nerfed the way it was to play by buffing the AI. The AI just played toxic. Live events, really just not very good. A complete waste of a mode. Tournaments, there's been a few okay ones. They've been a decent addition to the game, but really just not lived up to what they could have been. So that's the playing side of things. We've not even got to the menus, which we all know is the biggest part of this game. Club section, I mean, I can't really talk about the downfall of FC26 and suggest that cosmetics in the stadiums are downfall, because it's been awful every year. I didn't even mention updating it. But this is just another area of the game completely neglected. In a world of customization, many modern games, the stadium, the home of your team, kits, all this type of thing. How do we not have custom kits yet? This is an area that's just completely lacking. I could do a whole video about that. Evolutions. Evolutions are a really cool concept. I know people who play the game less competitively and they really love them because it allows them to get pretty good players in their team, or they can build like one of my colleagues that works at Leeds fan, so he just builds like a full Leeds Evo team that is somewhat competitive. However, the problem with Evolutions is EA just balance them so bad. They tend to either be absolutely broken, not often, or just useless and they're not even remotely in the realms of as good as some of the other players. Or the curve at the time. The My Evolutions, why on earth do they expire? I mean, it's probably stopped stupid chains happening, but again, that's just a balancing issue that EA need to fix on there, and let's be real. The The cost of some of them is very weird. They're very slanted in the trying to make you pay points. Some of the free ones are okay, but they hold you back a lot. They have some of the evolution chains are just clunky and take forever to do. They're broken and don't always record. So at times evolutions this year have been good, and then at other times they've just been useless. The FS Academy, cool idea in some ways, but just very complicated. The rewards, you end up losing a lot of them. I think I could be wrong. These seem like ones for really good. Player roles, I like that. I think that's a decent thing that they've allowed people to do. I think that's definitely a good addition to the game. The cosmetics decent, but these cost just too much. You'd be able to get a lot more of these for free in reality. But I do think it's kind of cool that they've added some of these. But yeah, evolutions is a key area of the game, in my opinion, that could do with a lot of love, a lot more effort to put in to get it done right. Another area of the game, in my opinion, that is just shocking: player stats. Maybe some people won't care for this, but for me, it's something I would really like to see a lot more effort put into. It's not something they've really promised us too much, but they have mentioned before about improving these. They've never really done anything to make them better. EA literally, I think, still partnered with the Premier League to do like in-depth stats. If they can do it for real life football, why can't they do it for the game that they're part of? And then this top player thing, just like whatever, like just useless. The leaderboards are always just a mess. Tactics, we've not even got to that yet. This menu here is actually decent, and I think chemistry is probably the best it's been in a long time. That it's relatively balanced, and it's not too hard to get chemistry anymore. It's annoying at the start, but it's not too bad, and the player role's been good. So I'm not just saying everything on this game is just an abomination, whilst a lot of it is. The tactics, however, they're way too linear. They're way too simple. It doesn't reflect modern football really at all. They don't make that big a difference, a lot of them. Player roles, whilst a cool idea, they've tried to take this from Football Manager, clearly. There's not a lot of fluidity in this. You can't really do much with the tactics. And as every year, broken stuff gets put into the game that people discover within a couple of weeks. EA don't balance it. And a game that I really liked gameplay-wise at the start of the year has disappeared. People just discovered tactics that work, spamming through balls out to the wing, being able to do cutbacks. The tactics, there's not really any. You have to play a certain way on this game. And that is the same every year. But I genuinely thought the gameplay at the start of this year was the best we've seen in a long time, since maybe FIFA 18. And now it's up there for one of the worst FIFAs I've ever played. So that's the tactics. Again, could spend a long time going into that. But I think we'd all agree you tend to see one of 4 or 5 formations. If you see something else, it tends to be very similar to one of the meta. One of the big complaints people have had this year is how pay to win the game's been, and how hard it is to get the good players without spending money. I don't think the gameplay wise is actually that pay to win, but in terms of getting the fun, cool players everyone wants, it's been really bad. SBCs, it's been one of the worst years in my opinion. I think it's been really shocking. The choice has not been very good. I do like, by the way, that they're adding players throughout the year. I've not actually seen this Gilberto Silva. Can't have a look at him. Looks decent. It's pretty cool that they've got these type of players being added in the middle of the game. But the SBC's been really poor. I don't think anyone's really would be able to sit and tell me that the SBCs this year are fun. The promos, we've not really mentioned that. Yeremy Pino is 23 and come from La Liga as a pretty decent player, I think. I think he was in La Liga. How is 23 a future star? Some of the choice for promos this year has just been absolutely appalling. The SBCs, though, right now, as I look through, there's just not a single card that really stands out. It's like super exciting. The SBCs for me have been lazy, uninventive, and something that in previous years has been a key part of the game. I don't really ever grind these, but a lot of people told me that the upgrade packs are shocking. The grind during Team of the Year was apparently awful, just nothing to do. Again, I'm not commenting as someone who's experienced in that area of the game, trades or does that, but a lot of people saying how bad it is. And that's a key area of the game that a lot of people really like. The store. It's the one area of the game that you can almost guarantee will never have an issue. And if it does have an issue, it'll be the first that gets fixed. We all know this. EA make a lot of money off Ultimate Team, and they're a business. That's the job. They're supposed to make money. I don't begrudge them that. But they preached and talked to us all about the power curve this year. How about they were going to make it a more rewarding game? The store genuinely, within a couple of weeks, just blew that out of the waters. The power curve this year lasted a month, if that. Players were getting, not even getting a ratings upgrade, just getting like an extra play style or something. And the power curve on the new promos wasn't really changing things too much. But the packs in the store were. Player prices are absolutely tanking. They're trying to push it towards untradables. The power curve has been one of the worst I've ever seen this year. And it was something they just kept mentioning over and over again. Just look through the packs. If I was to open everything that's in the store right now, that's 12,000, 16,000, 26,000, 31,000, 38,500, 44,500, 55,000. That's 55,000. And this, honestly, there's normally more in the store. So 55,000. How many thief points does that cost? Let's have a look. So 55,000. It's about 3 lots of that. There's about 400 quid worth of packs right now in the store. The game is only about 20-30 quid right now. So about 15 to 20 times the value of the actual game is just in crappy promo packs that are there right now. Provisions are useless. The packs for you are just gacha stupid stuff. The bundles tend to always be awful, like no one cares about them. The store is so predatory and so bad. The pack weight's shocking. Like if we look, what's the most expensive one? Rise Above. You were paying 2,500 for a 29% chance at a 90, 1.8% at an icon, 58% at a knockout royalty. Great. The only problem is that knockout royalty player will almost certainly be one of the absolute worst ones. You can open 4 of these. You would statistically have to open about 15 or 16 of these. I think it's about 15 to get a royalty icon. So you'd have to get one of the icons from that, you'd have to spend about 40,000 points. 40,000 points, it's about 300 quid. So to get an icon, and bear in mind it will almost certainly be one of the worst icons, you have to spend about 400 quid on the game. No, sorry, was it 300 quid? Whatever, what was it? 300 quid. Yeah, it's maybe about 300 quid. Just absolutely shocking. It's predatory. It's awful. I don't think anyone could defend it at this point. The store's shocking. And like I say, we all know what they do with the store, but with the talk of the power curve, and they said they'd slow things down with rewards, you would assume that meant the store was going to be a bit better. How wrong was we? Okay, we're just going to have a clip from some of the games that I've played. Gameplay this year at the start was fantastic. And then EA thought they would just completely change certain areas. They thought that they didn't say it directly they did, but they did something to that kind of like buff the AI. They completely killed R1 dribbling, which wasn't broken. It added a bit of a skill gap the way people could use it. Obviously, there's an element of some of the things in the game weren't good at launch, and it just took people time to discover what was broken. That can happen. Don't get me wrong. It's hard for EA to always know that, but of course, it's EA's job as the game developer to balance the game and make it actual playable and a good gaming experience and test it properly. Work with people who understand the game better, like pro players. One of my issues always is with this game that EA do patches that change things, whether it's indirectly on purpose or not, I don't know. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, say they don't do it on purpose, but they do patches that change the game and make indirect changes, so that they don't even tell us about. So the recent finesse nerf, where finesse shots literally just bug out randomly, absolutely breaks the game at times. Really, really frustrating experience. to see some of the ways that finesse shots can go on this game. Really frustrates me, really gets on my nerves. For me, the bugs that we get every year in this game is just unacceptable for what is a AAA title. The gameplay, to an absolute casual, probably looks okay. The graphics are amazing. But when you get down to it, how arcadey it is at times, how strong the AI is, and then how weak the AI can be, how OP playstyles are. That's something, again, they told us that would be better. They said playstyles wouldn't be the be-all and end-all. They pretty much are. They're the most important thing on the game. How pace seems so good sometimes and sometimes awful. Keeps are inconsistent. The gameplay really has taken a huge hit this year. It was so good early on in the game, in my opinion. And then, obviously, it would have been worse if they just didn't change anything. But, yeah, it's just broken. It's just an unenjoyable game that I hate loading up and playing now. Hopefully this video has helped you have a bit of insight into the game. As always, I do appreciate you tuning in. Let me know your comments, your thoughts on the game, what you think of it. I appreciate you all. I'm trying to put a bit more effort into the channel, put a bit longer videos out there. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.